Hey fans! Happy September! Everybody, it's your girl Babs, and I am back with our WL magazine for September 2023. Up first, the lead story, the end of an era, let's get it! Something insanely out of the ordinary at Sweet Revenge for Crushed Up. 2 weeks ago, as the almost unthinkable went down with American Supreme Matt Clark losing our WL World Heavyweight Championship to the Punjabi Nightmare, the Great Khali, in a shocker of a main event.
The champion came out here, someone gloating their belt around. Don't know if that's their way of playing mind games. That title should give anyone the right to gloat. Climbing up top, he's got big plans. Soaring. Into the barricade. Barricade. By the thrown into the top rope. Trap the arm. Unmitigated demonstration of power. Talk about intimidation. I'm not sure if it's resilience or stupidity that's going to drive you to try and come back from a move like that. Bear hug, squeezing the breath out of it. The bear hug cinched in. Gotta find a way out and catch your breath. Look at this. No quit whatsoever. Raining out elbows and escaping the bear hug. Away. Every maneuver being returned with counter fire. Point of the elbow finds the mark. Oh, ouch. With the reversal. Exhibiting a crazy amount of strength here. Really an attack that very few superstars can perform with such ease. And we just saw some serious offense. Trap the arm. Neck breaker. So smooth. And he said, "You're not getting me with that this time." What a DDT. Any more hits in that area could leave him dizzy. I thought that was it. Talk about a close call for him. Quick exchange, reversing the reversal. Staggering to his feet, but he won't. Here is your winner, and heavyweight wrestling champion, the Great
Khali ended Matt's third run with the title, which stood unbroken since 2017. Then outraged, American Supreme vented to the crowd in Germany.
Last Thursday at SR4, I lost the World Heavyweight Championship to the Great Khali. I know. And I'm really sorry I let you all down. Ordinarily, I would let that stand, but because Playboy Gary Hart wanted to be as vindictive as an angry ex-wife, well that, in plain English, pissed me off. Gary's mad because I wouldn't join his stable, just about the time I started this last title run. I told him then.
Be about a few things. Let's find out.
Well, Mr. Clark. I told you last week, the mills of the gods grind slow but exceedingly fine. And here you are, without your championship belt, now around the waist of my man, the Great Khali. What do you think of that?
I don't know what y'all might think about that, but it's petty, it's vindictive, and I didn't think Gary Hart could be so small. The contract for the rematch is already in front of the match committee, and I think I'm gonna see you both in September.
Well, Matt, that's kind of what I come out here to tell you. You see, I've already been back there to the match committee, and they have told me there ain't gonna be no rematch in September, Matt. You go back to the bottom of the ladder.
I'm really sorry to hear that, but now, I got nothing to lose.
Yikes on trikes. American Supreme just unloading on Playboy Gary Hart. Matt Clark has flipped the switch here. The years of bitterness between Clark and Hart has just boiled over big time.
To be expected, though. It's not like he's in there with a slouch, guys.
Yeah, but it looks to me like
Order can't be restored and the ref calls the match off. Hey, rules are rules. You gotta pay attention or you're gonna lose. It's that simple.
Matt's luck didn't get any better at the Snarl Tag Titles tournament earlier this week, as he and Oliver Hollywood were eliminated by the Midnight Express in the first round. Right now, that Matt Clark, Holly rematch at Sweet Revenge 5 next week is still up in the air, but we'll be sure to keep you up to date.
Tonight, as promised earlier this month, we'll be crowning new Snarl Tag Team Champions. Welcome to the Snarl Tag Team Championship Tournament.
People, this tournament was definitely an epic piece of business, and every single match was top drawer stuff. Match 1, Jerry Lawler and Roddy Piper versus the Samoans, was an unexpected surprise, since most people had the Samoans winning the match, but the King and Hot Rod had other ideas. It ended with Lawler clowning for the crowd, while Alpha was counted out. Match 2, the newest team on the roster, the Freak and Wild Thing Wayne Tighe, had their work cut out for them against Papa Shango and the Boogeyman, the Sectarians. Now, nobody figured on two guys from the Indies to score a win against a pair of legends like the Sectarians, but they were upsetting the plans of Shango and Boogie at every turn, countering. Counter moves as if they were psychic, always one step ahead of their opponents. Great team mechanics too, tagging early and often, making every possible pin attempt, and sliding in a sweet double team when they could. To say it simple, they were just better that night. Match 3 is leading the way with the most views, the men from Lucha against the Hart Foundation. It was a 16-minute long war, with the Hitman's technical skills, the Anvil and his raw power, against the masked Mexican icons. And neither of these two teams gave not even an inch in this one. When Blue Demon or Mil Mascaras was in there against Brett, the action was always fast and intense. Lots of near falls for both teams. But it was the Hitman, catching Mascaras with a sharpshooter twice, that may have sealed the deal for the Hart Foundation. Since we already covered match 4 in detail, let's move to round 2 right now. The King and the Piper versus the Hart Foundation was everything a wrestling fan would expect from for all-time greats, but a shout out to the Hot Scott in this one. Not to take anything away from the King of Memphis, but Roddy Piper was dialed up to 11 from bell to bell. As for the Hart Foundation, it was the Hitman who was the standout on his side. The excellence of execution was flowing like the Hitman of old, just amazing. Things did get pretty nasty, with men on both teams drawing blood, and Brett dissing the King by nailing Lawler with his own signature pile driver. How rude! And check out Piper right here. blowing up Hitman's attempt to go air. Seriously, Hot Rod was on point, and it was his sleeper hold that set Night Night Hitman for the win that took him and Jerry Lawler to the final. And hey, if you thought Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton were gonna sweep this thing, trigger warning folks. While the Midnight Express did present a challenge for the Freak and the Wild Thing, this was a long, tough back and forth, and the Freak and Tide were more than keeping up with the Midnight for most of the match. If there had been a time limit, these boys would have ended in a draw, but tourney matches have to end, and it was Wild Thing with 2 DDTs on Stan Lane to get the 3 count and the win. Like they say in Highlander, there can be only one, and the final of the tourney was, no doubt, 5-star chefs kiss good. Fact is, both teams would have made great champions either way, but it was a night for new stars to rise to the top, and I'm not hyping it when I tell you, this final was the highlight of the night. King and Piper were still on fire, but it was sheer determination from the newcomers that kept this match tight and intense from start to finish, with almost too many near falls to count. Wild Thing had his share of the fight, with the King and Piper both using every move in their arsenals, and it still wasn't enough to slow down Wayne Tig. I'm pretty sure that, like me, you thought Hot Rod had Wild Thing for sure with that sleeper that went on for what seemed like forever, and even Piper's bust signature move couldn't stop Wild Thing. The teams eventually took it outside the ring with frustration mounting and tempers flaring. With those titles on the line, All for Men just gave it 110 all the way, and they all took some serious beating. Finally, it took the Freak to deliver a knockout punch to Lawler, and with that 3 count, these two became overnight stars, and the new Snarl Tag Team Champs. And you already know, friends, that also puts targets in their backs, but I'm sure that the Freak and Wild Thing will face it together. The last few weeks have been wild when it comes to belts changing hands around here. Crystal Gabor, Tommy Wilcox, Abdullah the Butcher, and Big Jake Blackwell all became new champions this month, with wins over Taylor Holly Combs, the Boogeyman, Umaga, and Joseph Von Schmidt. That sets the table for the last sweet revenge of the summer next week. So now, let's talk about that. Next Friday, September 8th, our WL YouTube channel celebrates its 5th year with Sweet Revenge 5. Acting Chairman Colin O'Toole and the match committee are hard at work putting together this card to celebrate 5 years, 500 subs, and over 3,100 videos available. Up next, the top 5 viewers' choice matches, as chosen by you. And of course, it just wouldn't be our WL magazine without the Hall of Champions. Okay, loves, I'm all out of time, but thanks for being there. We'll be back tomorrow night with the first snarl of September. Until next month, honeys, this is Babs, and don't overdose on pumpkin spice like me. See you in the next one. Bye.